Welcome to the Sub Hub Podcast. I'm Dani Moreno.
And I'm MK Sullivan. And hopefully you have already listened to our last two podcasts this week. The first being our episode with Jonathan Wyatt that also includes the VK preview and then also the 46K preview. And today we're going to be doing a 23K preview for our final race of Broken Arrow.
Wah, wah, wah. This is on June 23rd, which is also my birthday. This is the best birthday gift ever. No, I love running, but yeah, it's up there. It's up there, you know.
I mean, the boats were, or the floats were better, but
yeah, exactly. But I'm very excited for this Sunday, June 23rd. And like our previous episodes, we are going to start with covering the agenda of events because Broken Arrow, Brendan and team have done an incredible job to make this whole weekend filled with great activations, panels, entertainment, DJs, etc. For y'all folks to make it super memorable, especially as we lead into this double header that includes Western states following this.
Yes, and let's start the schedule out with packet pickup because the last couple days we have had different times for packet pickup. Today, for Sunday's races, packet pickup is only from 5 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. for the 23K and the kids race distances. Because basically, if you haven't picked up your packet by then, you're gonna not have a bib for the race. So make sure you guys are there to pick up your packet prior to the 8 a.m. 23K start if you are running the 23K and prior to the 8:45 a.m. kids start if you have a kid running the kids race.
Yeah. And what's nice too is this is your last option and you would have already had Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon to pick up your packets. Following that, 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., there is a Solomon Trail Shoe demo and Believe in the Run Golden Trail Series cheer squad with Thomas Newberger and Robbie Redinger at the Solomon tent. I'm guessing because this race is part of the Golden Trail National Series. If you ever follow the Golden Trail World Series account, usually leading up to races, they'll create like a designated cheer zone. Usually, I don't want to put words into what might happen, but in the past, they'll hand out like bells or some of those like plastic, what are those called? Like
the things that bounce together.
Exactly.
Yeah, the soccer things.
The soccer things, yeah. So I'm guessing you can go and cheer in this spot at the Solomon tent. And then 8 a.m. is the start of the 23K.
I'm a little disappointed to see that we don't have another donut run here, but I guess Andy is
Walker.
running the 23K at 8 a.m. So sorry, guys, you only get your free pancake breakfast today.
Yeah, exactly.
The free pancake breakfast will be again from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. like it was the day before, presented by Kodiak Cakes and Donner Party Mountain Runners. The vendor village will be open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Since this is the last day of the event. And then we have the kids race at 8:45 a.m. And that is actually the 23K starts at the European Arch near Coffee Bar. This one starts in the Funatel Plaza, so two different areas.
Yes, definitely. Following that, from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., which this happens close to probably when the men's leaders will probably be coming in. No, the men will be probably slightly closer to 2 hours, but you have a quick time to get a book signing with a special guest at the Solomon tent. I don't know who this is going to be. I kind of hope it's Des Linden. But she doesn't have any connections to Solomon. Like, I'm going to guess it's some Solomon runner or something like that.
I know. So I like literally can't even think of who it would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll check it out for you while you're racing.
Thank you. You'll get me a book signed. And then at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., again, hydration gear cleaning and repair with HydroPack, and that is at the HydroPack tent. From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the 23K finish line DJ with Romy Akona, and DJ Coach is back at it again.
Round 2.
He's the real MVP with this double hitter, like DJing the whole day before for the 46K and then coming back for the 23K. Man, that's awesome. Thank you, DJ Coach, for your entertainment. And this roughly will be, yeah, it is the finish line, and we suspect the men's winners will come in probably closer to 9:40 based on who's in the
Yeah.
field. Ugh. And then the women will probably come in close to like 10 a.m. Yeah, like 2 hours.
Probably a little bit after, yeah, or
Yeah.
10 a.m.
Um,
DJ Coach throwing
yeah,
it down.
DJ Khaled, but cool to see another DJ in there as well. And then within this very similar time frame, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., there's another catered post-race meal available by the Men Wielding Fire at the Funatul Plaza.
From 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., Otter Pop Social presented by Darn Tough Vermont. So no Andy Wacker, no donuts, but Otter Pops are pretty cool on a kind of warm day. So we'll take that too. From 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., there will be trailgating with Dylan Bowman presented by Free Trail. I'm assuming they will be having the podium athletes up on there, but we don't know too many specifics about that. At 1 p.m. are the 23K awards ceremony. My guess is that's also the cutoff for the 23K itself. And then at 1:15 p.m. is the Triple Crown and Iron Crown award ceremonies. All three of those things happen at the KT Sun Deck.
Dang, it's gonna be poppin'. Yeah, I was thinking Darn Tough knows their audience. Donuts and Otter Pops, like
I
keep it simple.
know.
I love it. So yeah, those are the events for the last day of the weekend. Some pins again to consider if you haven't already listened to our previous episodes. A lot of stuff happens in the Funatil Plaza. A lot of stuff happens on the KT Sun Deck. And then you have the Solomon tent, the Hydro Pack tent, and the Darn Tough Vermont tent have stuff going on. And Bill Armstrong from Never Second will also be at the Never Second tent on this day 3, which is Sunday. So if you have any questions for the CEO and co-founder himself, head on over there in case you really enjoyed the gel that you picked up at an aid station.
Yes, and if you enjoyed the gels and you want to use them in the future, make sure that you guys use our discount code SUBHUB25 when you check out to get 25% off.
Yeah, especially because they're not on the feed anymore. So you could only purchase them through the website. And we'd love to help you guys out. And in the meantime, you're also helping the podcast out, which is awesome.
Yeah. So let's jump into the course.
Hey all, Dani here, professional trail runner and co-host of the SubHub podcast. Last year, after getting sick before a big race, I started looking into natural ways to boost my immune system. So I embarked on a little research journey, trying out a few different options. And you know what? I found myself reaching for one set of products again and again, and that was Beekeepers Naturals. And guess what? They are now a partner of the pod. Founded with a mission to reinvent the medicine cabinet, Beekeepers Naturals offers an array of immune-boosting products free from harmful chemicals and artificial ingredients. So if you're looking for a natural option to boost your immune system, consider trying Beekeepers Naturals products. And be sure to use the code SUBHUB20 for 20% off of all of your orders at beekeepersnaturals.com. Now back to the episode.
If you listen to our 46K episode already, it's very similar. But I'll let Dani read it this time, so maybe it sounds a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. So the 23K is one loop of the 46K. It's roughly 14 miles, depending on the watch and slight lines that you take here and there. And it looks like, depending on the watch, it ranges between like 4,300 and 4,800 feet of climbing. The low for weather Fahrenheit wise is 52 with a high of 76, so slightly cooler than the day before. We also start in that European arch, and it's very runnable the first 4-ish miles, runnable in quotes. This is like in mountain running terms, you still have a bit of climbing. And then the climbing begins about after mile 4 or 5. There's like a kicker of a climb, which is very hike worthy because the terrain is quite soft. So it is hard to like run up it and be quite productive. So then you go up and over that, and then you start having these little jaggers all the way up until you get to the highest point. And there is kind of a fun, really technical climb right before you hit the highest point too. A couple of switchbacks on some, what would you call it, like shale-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally you'll get to climb the famous ladder towards the top. It does look like on the Instagram reels that they've been posting on Broken Arrow, there is that little bit of snow after the ladder, and that might just be the last bit of snow that exists. In years past, they've cut stairs into that snow patch. I just don't know if they're going to have that this year. After that, you start your downhill descent, but don't get too excited because you still have one more, what feels like a monstrous climb, but is one of the shortest climbs in the entire race. But it's just after some really fast descending. So you get 2.5 miles of fast descending before you get that final climb out of Shirley Canyon. And then it's kind of a, not complete downhill, but very gentle rolling, semi-technical downhill until you get to the finish in the village.
Yes, and don't be fooled. You can hear the village for quite some time. So just know that, you're going to be out there for like 3.5 miles, 4 miles, maybe still descending. Don't get too excited. I mean, you can get excited, but just know that you're still not very close.
Brutal. It's true though.
Yeah.
So as far similar to the VK and similar to the 46K, this race course has changed over the years. I ran this 6 years ago and it was a way different course than it is now. And in between that time, there's probably been like 2 or 3 iterations. But based on the course that they have this year, it is closest to 2022 when Andy Wacker won in 1:50:11 and Sophia Lockley ran 2:06:18. So we're kind of distinguishing those as the course record / time to beat if you want a course record. And the start time for this race, as we mentioned, the agenda is 8 a.m. So it is an hour later than the 46K start.
Yeah. Let's jump into the athletes for Free Trail Fantasy.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I wanted to say the flag color
Oh, yes.
is orange. And like the VK, this is the kickoff to the Valsir World Mountain Running Cup. So athletes do earn points towards that series. And this is considered like, I think, a medium distance for them,
Yeah.
which is really cool. Yeah.
Cool.
And Golden Trail National Series race too.
Yes. So you'll get points for both of those.
Yeah.
All right. So on the women's side, we have some like new faces, some not so new faces, but these are the women that we've kind of like slated as, I guess, our favorites in our head. We'll start with Sarah Carter. She's fairly new to the trail scene. This will definitely be, I think, her longest race in terms of distance on the trails, but she is a 6-time Mountain West Conference champion. And she was the Mountain West Women's Cross Country Athlete of the Year in 2023. She recently ran the national championships in the 10K for NCAA Division I. She placed 9th at the 2023 Indoor Championships in the 5K with a PR of 15:44. And on the trails, Sarah has competed already in 3 Valsir World Cup races last summer, where she placed 9th, 12th, and 16th.
Yeah, I'm so excited that Sarah is joining this race, this next crop of next gens. And she is part of Andy Wacker's The Trail Team. And if you followed the trail team at all last year, Andy Wacker is doing an incredible job as far as mentorship and helping these athletes to train, select races. And I think they all are especially excited because they are coming off of their trail team camp, which was in Colorado following the GoPro Mountain Games. Next up, we have Rachel Tomajic. She is sponsored by Merrill. She's been on 2 world teams in the vertical and the uptown, both in Thailand and in Innsbruck. And she was 6th here last year in the 26K.
And then we have Jade Belsberg, who is doubling back from the VK. So we talked about her in our VK preview if you want to go back and listen to that as well. She was 2nd at the Broken Arrow VK last year to Anna Gibson. She was 2nd at Chuckanut this year to Claire DeVoe. She was 9th at the Canyons 100K just like 7 weeks ago and was 5th at the Broken Arrow VK in 2022. So she has a lot of experience, it seems, on the VK course, but it'll be interesting to see how she does in this double.
Yeah, is Rachel doubling too in the VK?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Rachel, we have several women doubling, actually. Rachel's doubling, Jade is doubling. We'll mention the others as they come.
Cool. Next up, we have Claire DeVoe. Really started this year with a bang with a very strong finishing time at Chuckanut earlier this year, where she won the race. She was also third at Gorge Waterfalls 30K, behind only 2 minutes behind Hannah Osowski and Rachel Drake, who ended up winning that race. And is she doubling?
No, I don't believe
Okay.
so.
Oh yeah, I don't believe so either. Okay.
Unless we missed her, but Lara Hamilton, who we talked about, is also doubling back from the VK. She is a member of the trail team this year. She won the Mammoth Trail Fest Dragon's Back climb last year. She was 27th in both the World Champs vertical and up down, and she was the 2023 Golden Trail National Series USA winner last year.
And then next up we have Adidas Terex Tabor Hemming. She recently was third at Canyons 50K, and that was in the VK preview. We said third at Kodiak 50K, but it was actually Canyons 50K. She was the winner of the Big Alta 28K earlier this year, and she was third in the VK in 2022. And she is doubling in the VK. Tabor is entered in OCC and I believe Speed Goat as well. So this is kind of like starting her build towards OCC.
Was she also third at Kodiak?
It was
Bailey.
Oh,
and then I think it
yeah.
was Tabor and then Rachel.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Dang.
So
right.
yeah, 2 third places at 50K. Yep, I'm very excited for her in this race. I think she will do an incredible job. Tabor was top 10 in her first year as an owl. So I feel like these types of races really suit her incredibly well.
And she's finished well at the 23K here twice already. So like she knows the course very well.
She knows the course. She knows where the cruxes are and where things will probably start to hurt.
Yes. Speaking of knowing this course very well, our next athlete is Allie Mack. She is also doubling back from the VK. She is the VK World Champion in 2022 in Thailand. She's won the VK here twice, won the 26K here last year. She knows this course super well because she's also run the 46K. So she's done a lot of loops around this course.
Yeah, she's done a lot of loops in Palisades Tahoe for sure. Next up, we have Joyce. Oh, something else with Allie Mack is she's done incredibly well on the Golden Trail World Series, especially in courses that are kind of in this range, like the 2-hour range. A couple years back, she was third at Flagstaff Sky Peaks. When Madera was a stage race, the races that were roughly 2 to 3 hours, she just absolutely demolished. So excited to see her back here. Next up is Joyce Muthani, who, even though I'm in the race, like she's the one to beat, coming off of a win at Four Sisters China in the second Golden Trail World Series race of this year, third at the uphill WMRA final. So this wasn't the final in Innsbruck. This was the final of the World Mountain Running Cup series. She was first at the 20K, again, of the Valsir World Mountain Cup final. That's such a mouthful. And then she was second last year to our very own American Sophia Lockley at Sierra Zanal, and a third place at the Mountain Classic in Innsbruck. So this race is right up her wheelhouse. She's an incredible runner, and she is also doubling in the VK. And being that she's a Valsir Mountain Running Cup frequent, I think she's here to score as many points as she can.
Yeah, stack up some points 2 days in, well, not 2 days in a row, one weekend.
One weekend, yeah, exactly.
And then finally, we have Dani Moreno. If you guys don't know who Dani Moreno is, then this must be your first time listening to the podcast and you didn't listen to the first 5 seconds. But Dani was third at OCC in 2022. She recently won the Canyons 50K and the Kodiak 50K, and she was second at the Mammoth Trail Fest, just behind Judith Wider, who, again, if you listen to this podcast, you also would know who Judith is. Dani's a badass. This is right. This course is perfect for you because there's a big old climb and then it's super runnable downhill, which is like Dani's bread and butter. So I'm super excited to see how this goes for you.
Thanks. Same. Yeah, well, same for you too. I don't know. These short races kind of like intimidate me at times though, because they're so fast.
She says that, but I also tell you that she said that before Mammoth Trail Fest last year, and then she got second. So like, she'll be fine.
She'll be fine. We do want to highlight though, super bummed, but we got word right after our VK preview that Grayson Murphy will not be towing the line this weekend. you know, all respect for her taking care of her body, etc. I know she has some other, or from what I've heard, she has some Golden Trail World Series races on her calendar for later this year. So maybe she just is getting more tuned up for that. So she will not be racing in the VK or this race. Really bummed because she is someone that could definitely add some spice to both of those races. So yeah, definitely adjust your free trail fantasy, though. I think they already kind of removed her
They already
from the list.
scratched her out.
Yeah.
So if you're checking back in, you'll notice that your pick has been scratched.
Yeah, exactly. But this race, you know, obviously personal bias, but I think it is going to be a fast race. All of these women know how to climb extremely well. And I'm excited to race Joyce, Allie, Tabor, and this next gen. Like, I'm so excited to see these younger athletes doing
We
these
have no
shorter
idea how they're
races.
gonna do.
We have no idea how they're going to
Yeah.
do dipping their toes in the shorter distances, not like jumping into the ultra distances right away. So I'm really excited, especially y'all. The last time I ran this race was 6 years ago, and I did win that year. And I always said when I would come back, like I would try to win again. It's going to be really, really hard this year, but I will try. But I'm excited to kick my own ass,
Yeah.
honestly. Like
It's gonna
just,
hurt.
yeah, but like kick my younger self's ass.
Oh yeah. Oh, you
Yeah.
will. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Time wise, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm most excited about. Like the course was slightly longer, but I ran like 2:30 something. So if I can beat myself by like 20 minutes, I'll be stoked.
My guess is that you will.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
A lot of lessons learned since that day.
Yeah. And way more competition too for you.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Men's race. Let's go.
A lot of people doubling back for this one too, as you guys, I'm sure, are well aware. But let's start it off with Talon Hull, who I believe is not doubling, but he was fourth place at last year's 23K. So it was a little bit of a weird course last year. Wasn't actually anything like the course that we're running on currently, but he's a good athlete. He knows the trails enough from that experience to, I think, do fairly well here as well.
He also just what's it called? He just crushed Canyon 25K.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I remember talking about him
He
now.
ran 125.
So the dude's fast.
Wheels. He's in a 25K. And it's like, yeah, it's runnable, but it's still a trail race.
He's newish. Like, I think he's still pretty green in this sport. So like he's getting better.
Yeah, Talon Hole is a sleeper. So definitely consider him for your free trail fantasy. Um, I mean, it's crazy, these names. Next up, we have Jeshrin Small. He was the top American at OCC last year. Incredible run considering how deep that field was. So it went, since the results are still standing, Stian Angerman, Francesco Pupi, and then Antonio Martinez. And then it was Jeshrin. And then I believe it was Robbie Simpson. And then just the list goes on. Obviously, Stian still being in contention until we get more answers there, but insane performance. And then he showed that he has range because he recently got fourth at Transvolcania, like the long distance.
The long distance, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing he's coming in with some hella endurance and he's going to be really strong. He also was third at Desert Rats 21K this year. And then he was fourth at Speed Goat 50K last year. So he could climb, he could descend. Watch out for Joshua Small.
Yes. And then up next we have Mika Boudin Rousseau, who was third last year at this race. But he also has been a little bit injured. Did he run GoPro games? He didn't, right?
I think he did, but I don't know if it went well.
I think he may have been like third or fourth if he was there. So Mika's coming back from an injury, but he's still very talented, still like knows this area pretty well. He ran the course a couple of days ago. I would not count him out of the top 10.
Yeah, 100%. And Mammoth Trail Fest, Mika
was second? No.
Yeah.
I'll look it up while you do the next one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and he's got hella fast. We just looked up his 5K PR. He's a sub 14 minute dude in the 5K, but his 10K in cross country was kind of like his big PR when it comes to his times at Stanford. So yes, don't count Mika out. Next up, we have Dan Kurtz. His full name is Daniel, for anyone who doesn't know, Daniel Kurtz. But we mostly see him for Dan Kurtz. He was the champion at the USATF Up Down Champs at Centipede Scramble last year. And yeah, he's been staying in the Tahoe area. He's checked out the course. This dude is a crazy descender. So I am curious to see how he does with something slightly more runnable. At Mammoth Trail Fest last year, I believe he was pretty sick when he raced. So he had a little bit of a rough day there. But yeah, this dude's super strong.
Okay, my computer is moving so slow, but we just pulled up Mika's ultra sign up so that we can check on this. Oh my gosh. So last year at Mammoth Trail Fest, yeah, he was second.
Oh, sick. Okay. Yeah. So I would say those are very, oh yeah. So he was third at the GoPro 10K.
Yeah.
All right. Mika's ready to roll. Definitely consider, don't count Mika out. Yeah.
Okay. Christian
Next.
Allen, doubling back from the VK. We mentioned him in the VK preview, but he was third at Trofeo Nisego behind Patrick Kipnino and Philemon Mbogo. And he won the long distance WMRA final, the Valsir World Cup final against Andy Wacker.
Yep. I am very interested to see, the more that I see this now, like how these guys are going to double back versus the guys who aren't doubling.
Yeah.
You know, because I really think the VK is going to take a little bit out of them this
But
year.
most of these guys are doubling back. The only people on our list that aren't doubling back, because we haven't finished it yet, obviously, are Dan Kurtz, Mika, Jesharun, and Talon.
Yeah, but
So
all of
just
them
keep
are
that in
like,
mind.
yeah, totally. Andy Wacker, he was the 2022 champion, and his time of 1:50:11 is what we consider to be the course record. He's also gotten 2 top 20 finishes in the VK, both last year and in 2022. Andy Wacker just knows how to run these types of courses in his sleep. He is a hella fast dude. Even when he's like coming off of injury or like little training, he can still crush these. So always consider Andy Wacker.
Yes. And he was third the year before in 2021. So like he's run this course a lot.
He's run this course a lot. Yeah.
Next up, we have Philemon Mbogo, who is the Sears and All winner last year. Huge performance. He was fifth at Sears and All in 2022. He was second at the Golden Trail World Series final, like the actual race in the 26K, behind El Hussein and right in front of his teammate Patrick. And the two of them have gone back and forth quite a bit, it seems like, over the years. Like, I think Dani and I tallied it up, and their wins against each other are almost equal.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. And I would say that for Philemon, if you were to take him and Patrick's skill set, like this course kind of veers more towards him and Patrick more of the VK. But again, they're just so interchangeable. Like they both can do a little bit of everything, which is pretty awesome.
Did Philemon run the first 2 races of the Golden Trail
He did.
series?
He had a rough time at both of
Okay.
them. I think he might have dropped out of one of them too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just know that Philemon might be having a little bit of a rougher year in these long races. I would still not count him out for the short race, the uphill race, but
Yeah.
possibility that he doesn't do as well, which for
Yeah.
him still, oh, he was fourth at Four Sisters though, but it seems like, yeah, he dropped out of Japan.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up we have Chad Hall. As we mentioned in the VK, if Chad can run, Chad is a freaking weapon, and you can run Broken Arrow. You could
Yes.
definitely run the whole thing. Unfortunately had a rolled ankle at the GoPro Mountain Games in the 10K. He was in second behind Eli, or this was in the 20K, sorry, and faded back. And then Mammoth Trail Fest had a wrong turn, but you know, I would look to Kodiak to Chad's full potential when he isn't having some bad luck. And he absolutely crushed that race. So I'm really excited. I think this course in particular will suit him very well. And he was second last year behind Eli.
Yes. And I mean, the dude, can do a lot. He technically finished first at the Mammoth Trail Fest 23K last year, but did get disqualified due to a wrong turn. He won the Dragon's Back Ascent the year before, the 50K the year before that. He's been 6th at Pikes Peak Ascent. So like he's got range. And then next up, we have Patrick Kipnieno. Last year, he was second at Mammoth Trail, or no, he was not second at Mammoth Trail Fest. This is the wrong person. Patrick Kipnieno is our back-to-back world champion in the VK. He is also won the Kobe Trail in Japan, as well as the Four Sisters in China. Those were his first 2 Golden Trail wins, but huge ones nonetheless. And I mean, he basically spent the entire year last year just being second to Remy. But I think he's ready for some big performances this year.
Yeah, definitely. And his PR is 102 from what I could find in the half
In the half?
marathon. Not
Oof.
bad. And 29:20 in the 10K.
Damn.
All
All
right.
right, Patrick.
All right, Patrick. And we have, oh my gosh, Hemmings weekend. I love it.
Yeah.
We have Eli Hemming back to double as well. Like we mentioned in the VK preview, first at Black Canyon 60K, first at Big Alta 50K, first at Canyons 50K. Just had a gap of 540 at the GoPro 20K where he ran away with it, and has a recent Bear Mountain FKT. I just feel like it's an ongoing boxing match this weekend between Eli, Patrick, Philemon, and Chad.
I know. And Christian. It'll be
And
so
Christian. Yeah,
interesting to see how all these races go.
I
But
know.
hopefully you guys are just as excited about Broken Arrow as we are. There's a reason we have 3 episodes, and it's because there's just so much going on.
Yeah, definitely. These are very good. I mean, these fields could be Golden Trail World Series race fields with all the talent that's coming in. Did you want to put picks to the guys or no?
Nah. Well,
At least give me a podium. You don't have to put them in order, but who's going to be in the top 3 for the 23K?
I'm gonna go Patrick and Eli and Chad.
Nice.
I don't
would
know
say
what
the
order.
same. No, I was
But
going to say the same. Yeah.
yeah.
I think the American men will, I think the 23K will suit them slightly better than the VK. Eli's VO2 is insane though, so who knows? But yeah. All right, this has been the 3rd episode. So if you haven't already, go back, listen to the VK in-depth preview along with our interview with Jono Wyatt, who is the head of the Valsir World Mountain Running Cup, which the VK and the 23K are a part of. And then go back and listen to our 46K preview. And at the beginning of each of these 3 episodes, we have the agendas for each of the days at this Broken Arrow weekend. And we hope you are as excited, if not more excited, for this event weekend than us.
Yep. And make sure that you guys are out cheering for Dani on Sunday. And we will be around, hopefully handing out stickers as frequently as we can. And we'll be doing some free trail stuff as well. So we hope to see you guys out there.
Yep. This has been the Sub Hub podcast brought to you by Free Trail.